Hello and welcome back to The Sims 4 and welcome to another speed building video. Today we're building an internet cafe. It's called LAN Café because I couldn't come up with a clever title. I originally wanted to parody something like Barcraft, but it's not really a bar, it's a lounge, so that wasn't really a very clever option in the end. I think LAN Café works. I mean, I imagine you could have a LAN party in here or something, but I don't know, it's The Sims. Whatever you can do in The Sims, you can probably do in this particular lounge. So, this is certainly an interesting little build. I do a little bit of playing around with the foundation on the build to create what I'm calling the pit. And the pit is basically where all of the computers are in this build. There's a full bar, there's 3 toilets, there's this entrance area here, and there's a couple of areas around the pit for you to sit around at tables or on sofas and talk with people or do whatever you want, really. But it's certainly, I mean, it's a little bit different. The exterior is actually pretty standard. I mean, the exterior is nothing all that special. It looks like it could be a house, or it looks like it's just a kind of generic commercial building. I think the inside of this building is where it truly shines, if I do say so myself. Now, the inside is certainly an interesting little beastie to behold. It's got quite the color scheme. It's yellow, green, and blue, where the outside, as you can see, is red and dark grey. Which, if you remember the previous build, which was orange is the new brick, I was originally considering using this color scheme for that build, and I did say I wanted to use it again at some point, so I'm getting this out of the way. Now, it's a little bit weird just watching this back, because I'm commentating this quite some time after I recorded it, because the original commentary was god-awful. It's really, really apparent that I can't seem to build anything that hasn't got this kind of modern, contemporary feel to it. You know, very clean, very just plain colors, and very just clean and flat and crisp furniture and layouts and stuff like that. I mean, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but I don't want to become known for making nothing but modern contemporary builds. I think they get a little bit boring after a while, so I'm certainly going to have to challenge myself on the next build to build something maybe a bit more Victorian or a little bit more classic, or something just that isn't simply a contemporary home or a contemporary kind of shop or lounge. Now, here we are just putting in the bar. As I said, the color scheme in here is going to be green, yellow, and blue. The bar is primarily green, and then everything else around the place is either yellow or blue. The sofas are yellow or blue. The tables, I think, are maybe white. I don't know. I don't remember what the tables are going to be, but it's an interesting mix of colors that I didn't think would work, and it sort of does. I think when you initially see it, you'll probably look at it and think, oh, it doesn't really work. Especially with the color I go for on the walls contrasted with simply the white flooring there. That flooring does change in a little bit. I don't know why I left it white for so long, but it looks terrible looking back on it. I do end up changing it to a nice wood that makes the entire thing just come to life, really. Just so much warmth and I don't know, it just seems like a much more comfortable place to be when the floor changes to wood as opposed to this kind of cold, clinical white that it currently is. Now, there we go, adding in a couple of chairs and a lamp in the corner there. Again, bringing in the yellow and the blue that I was talking about. It's not the greatest color scheme, I know, but my high school actually had the uniform was yellow and blue, which is a weird concept. It's weird talking about a uniform, having not worn one in a very long time, and the fact that a lot of people in other countries are sitting there going, school uniform? What the hell is this? Are you in a, was it a military school? No, it was just a standard school. But all my UK viewers right now are just sitting there going, yeah, duh. But anyway, moving on. I also made the computer chairs and the keyboards and the computers green as well to tie in with the color scheme. I think I end up going with pretty much the combination of white, yellow, blue, and green furniture, where the walls and flooring end up being this slightly warm tan-ish color. It's... I don't have a word to describe the feel of this place, but I just genuinely didn't think it would work at all. At first, like, looking at this and building it, I remember thinking, what am I doing? This looks dreadful. This is not going to work. And I don't know. I don't want to give a floor all that much credit. I mean, it's a floor, but it tied the place together really, really nicely, and I probably wouldn't be uploading this if I didn't change that floor at all. I'd be ashamed of the build. You'll see, it's subtle but massive. I sound like such a douchebag artist right now, don't I? It's a subtle change, but it's huge. The entire feel of the structure, it comes together to bind everything under one color palette. I don't know what I'm talking about or why I did that, but here we are. Wow. Here we are going ahead and adding in the bathrooms. They are all exactly the same. I added 3 of them because I imagine you could have a party at this lot and you want to make sure you get plenty of bathrooms for plenty of Sims. So 3 bathrooms seems to be enough. And there we go, changing that subtle but massive flooring to a nice wood color there, binding the color palette together as one. Yeah. So yes, that's the flooring I was talking about. I think it just works, it acts quite nicely, and it binds the color palette together. Now here we are adding in the roof on the build. A little bit challenging at first, but I do end up working out a good way to do this. I just have various sections at different heights, you know? And then this little bit at the back was a bit of a nightmare, but I sort of worked out that if I use the, I can't remember the name of it, it's basically that section of roof there, and lower it down, we can kind of have this cool, just raised section on the roof that looks pretty decent, and I think the color scheme allows it to look pretty cool as well. There's something about it. I just really love the exterior of this building. It's simple, but it looks like it could be a cafe, or it could be a lounge, or it could be just a nice place to be. It doesn't necessarily look too much like a home. I think there's too much glass and like big windows for it to look like a home. But yeah, I think it looks pretty decent, if I do say so myself, and I am really happy with it. Now here we are, just moving to the front room here. We're going to be adding a couple of counters just as a this is basically where you can set stuff and where there's some decoration. There's no real purpose to this. I just didn't want you walking straight into the main room. I wanted there to be some little kind of entrance area. So this is just somewhere you can hang up your coat, or you can set something, or the store owners, the cafe lounge owners can set stuff and be like, hey, look at this offer we have on right now. Oh, it's going to be this much to have a birthday here. You know, just little things like that. I know you don't do that in The Sims, but imagine it's real life, okay? I don't know. I just thought this worked. I think it needed a little area there just as a little buffer before going into the main room, and, you know, it works. It makes it look a bit more like a store, a bit more like a lounge or a cafe, and I enjoy it. Now, there is an interesting little fact about this build. At some point in a little bit, you're going to notice I bring up the lot info, and it stays up for a little bit. That's because I couldn't actually save this lot. I was getting to a point here where I was kind of more or less done with it, and I tried to save it and be like, okay, the lot's done. And the game was like, no, it's not. It's not done. It's not done. This isn't a lounge. You haven't got dining tables. You haven't got a stereo. You haven't got a microphone. So after sort of toying around with the outside a little bit, I realized, and here we are now just checking, I need to add in the microphone. And I need to add in various things like that. And I didn't want to add in a microphone. I really didn't. But where I put it, I think works. In my mind, the microphone that I add is like the store owners will go up to it and speak into it and be like, ladies and gentlemen, the store is now closing. If you could all finish up with your games and go home, that would be fantastic. That's kind of my mind for what they'd be doing with the microphone. I know the Sims are just going to use it for comedy, but I think that works as well, maybe. You know, it could be used for comedy while they're playing games or doing whatever. It can be used for something. It's just there because it has to be. I didn't want to put it somewhere where they can't access it, because that's kind of a cheap way to make this lot, so I go ahead and add that in. I add in some dining tables as well, which sort of worked. I wasn't quite sure where to put them at first, but I think it adds a little bit of variety to the lot that I really enjoyed as well. You know, instead of everything being sofas and comfortable armchairs, you've got some dining tables there as well. So your Sims can, you know, have a bite to eat or do whatever they want to do at the dining table. I don't think I actually have a refrigerator in this lot, so that might be something I need to add before putting it on the gallery, or you could go and get it yourself. Do you see that segue about the gallery? Yeah, that's quite the segue. So I mentioned before, I'll mention again, all of my lots, as soon as you see this video, and often before you see the video, will be on the gallery. It's worth also mentioning that these videos will be every Wednesday. So every Wednesday of every week, you will get a new Sims 4 building video. It's likely that on the Tuesday of that week, if you search for my name on the gallery, you'll find the lot before the video goes out, because I always do it the day before or a couple of days before to make sure it's there and it's up and it's done. So yes, go ahead and download the lot and change it as you see fit. We are pretty much done with the construction, just moving to the outside here to make it look like it belongs in this world, adding in some plants but not too many because it's sort of a dirty, sandy, deserty lot, so I didn't want to add too much green plant life because it would just look out of place. So I added this mix of green and purple leading up to the building, and then just a lot of palm trees around the lot as well. I think I do add some plants and shrubs and bushes around the building, but not all that many. They're kind of just about to accent the place. I do add a pond though, just because I needed something to fill the space. Like I said, there's not all that many plants and bits of fauna or flora? I think it's flora about the place, so I just needed something to fill the space, and I think a little pond works quite nicely. Anyway, we'll be going ahead and adding in all of the little shrubs that I mentioned any second now. There we go, just adding them in now, and in a moment we're going to be jumping into some screenshots of the lot, which are quite nice if I do say so myself. I'm happy with the lot. It's nothing spectacular, but it does the job quite nicely. There we go, jumping into a screenshot of the entrance area, and I'll leave you with the rest of them, folks. That is going to be it. Thank you very much for watching. Of course, you can download this lot from the gallery. Just search for my username. You can find more info in the description about how you can do that. If you have any suggestions for future builds, tweet them to me or leave them as a comment on this video. And with that in mind, thank you very much for watching. You're looking fabulous, by the way, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.